What's going on, guys? Uncle Nick here. As you can see, I am benching today. Now, it's been a while since I've done anything bench related on a video, but I guess I wanted to really talk about how I incorporate bench and apply it to my strongman stuff, because there is no actual benching in strongman. It's always overhead. That's pretty much any variation of pressing is going to be picking it up off the ground and putting it over your head. So bench doesn't really apply in that sense, because you're laying on a bench or on the floor and you're pressing in a very fixed pattern range of motion. Whereas overhead, it's picking up big dumb objects like logs, dumbbells, blocks, sandbags. I've never seen a sandbag press in a competition, come to think of it. So nobody get any dumb ideas about doing a sandbag press. But yeah, things like that, kegs, all that weird, cumbersome, big giant stuff. So I really wanted to bring you guys in on how I incorporate my bench, because I still work it as one of my main 4 strength days. Right now I'm working on my Wednesdays and my overhead on my Saturdays, mainly because everyone in the gym member-wise on Saturdays is benching. So I'm doing overhead when all the benches are taking up, so I don't interfere with the members because we lift so close together on those days. But I really don't do anything normal benching wise. There's a couple of variations that I continually do to help my overhead. Now, I do normal bench, especially now that I'm running a conjugate program. My band and stuff is a normal bench, but I really stick to the Swiss bar or a close grip variation or things like that. That neutral grip with the log and the neutral grip with the Swiss bar, I really like. I feel a lot less in my shoulders and more in my chest and my triceps. Especially with the close grip, it really allows me to hit those triceps to develop that lockout power I would need in an overhead. Because your lockout power is using the same mechanisms on a bench and an overhead. It's predominantly tricep. Like you saw in the beginning of this video, this is one of my favorite things to bench with now, this Swiss bar. I really like you get so many options with the really close grip, the kind of close grip, like a normal width and then the wide width, and predominantly the chest muscle group versus the triceps. So if your triceps are smoked, it gives you the option to hit a little bit more chest dominant work, or if your chest is smoked, it gives you the option to hit a little more tricep work, or find something in the middle. Right now I am working the close grip, not the close together, I am working the second one in right here. Get my chest a little bit involved. And I also do a lot of incline. That's one of my favorite things to do. I don't really do it much in strength with this program because of it being conjugate, so it's band. So it's all flat bench right now, but it's constantly in my assistance. So I typically work up to like a heavy set of 5 or heavy set of 3 in my assistance, work up and work back down and get under some good weight, get those front delts firing pretty good. Even on my bench days, I'm still activating some sort of shoulder mechanism in an incline or something of that nature. Whether I'm benching or whether I'm overhead pressing, I'm doing something to incorporate a mechanism that I'm going to use in my overhead press, either double tapping it or isolating it by itself. Bench helps your overhead. I generally think it does, especially when I'm able to hit the different variations and not just stick to a normal barbell press, because I've never been in a competition that's ever had any sort of barbell press in strongman. But I think benching and overhead go hand in hand. Overhead, I think, helps your bench. Bench helps your overhead, because both of them require triceps. It's that simple. And if your triceps are getting stronger, your lockout's gonna get stronger on either one. That's how I see it. That's the results that I've seen from it. If my bench is going up, my overhead's typically going up. Now my overhead goes up a little bit more because I do get the leg drive and push presses versus a strict press, but I do feel the correlation with the tricep work and the incline work as well, especially. So I'm gonna keep doing that and building on using each one to build the other. They kind of go hand in hand. Billy's a good presser.
That's questionable at best.
Billy's a good presser.
What's up?
Don't. Your bench work, do you do it so it translates to your overhead, or do you work it as something as more of its own separate thing?
So very much it translates to overhead. I don't really care for the bench personally. I'm not a good bencher for a lot of reasons. So I love the incline bench, and I think the incline bench transfers to, sorry, I was a little winded. So to the overhead, very much so, yeah.
You do a lot of incline.
Yeah, I love it though, but it feels comfortable. I like it more than flat, just because I feel like everything's a little bit more freed up, less strain. Mm-hmm. Everything's just kind of in the right position, but it may be that I work that more in general. And I just like how the strict overhead translates to the strict incline bench transfers over to the overhead press, especially finishing that lockout and developing the pecs and the anterior delt and all that. Very much so. So.
Yeah, I don't remember the last time I saw Billy do a flat bench.
Yeah.
He's always doing incline.
Yeah.
Which is one of my favorites.
Like I might do it if someone else is doing it. I'll consider it an accessory, but because I don't have to do it, I don't. And I just see too many people who getting tear rotator cuffs and to justify doing that. Yeah.
Thanks, Billy.
Yeah, dude.
Come on, Nick.
Come on, squeeze. Go, face.
Fuck, my butt cramped up.
That's all you.
Butt cramp.
Stand up, stretch.
You're never gonna make it through a doctor's appointment like that.
Why? I'm benching. Oh, man. That shouldn't have been that hard. I got way out front. Ladies and gentlemen, don't push your bench press to your knees. Holy butt cramp. I couldn't have gotten any more leg drive into that. That was bad. So that really ugly rep that you guys saw was the top set of my 3 rep max with this. And this bar, because of how wide it is, it does create a lot of instability. So it takes a little more concentration to control than, say, a normal barbell. But that instability is very similar to what you get with a log, with the log having that neutral grip and the handles, the way they're situated. The log does roll, this does roll, so there's a lot of correlation with my overhead with just this implement itself, which is why I use it. You getting out front on a bench press has the same effect as it does on an overhead press. It makes your press that much harder, and what could have been a normal, smooth 3 rep turned into a grinder at top of the last one. And the same goes for my overhead. When I get out front on that, it is noticeably different. You feel it so much more in your delts. The weight just feels exponentially harder. So it does create that same reflex, get it to your face as you would on an overhead and a bench. So there's a lot of carryover there with the bar path, and it kind of reinforces that mental cue to get it to my face. You heard Brian yelling for me to get it back towards my face, and that's the same cue you're gonna hear on an overhead. You're gonna punch to the back of your head. On a bench press, you're gonna drive towards your face because you do not want it to get out front like mine did, where I was bench pressing and throwing it to my knees apparently, so yeah. Thankfully, Billy was there to save me.
Yeah.
Thank you, Billy.
Hey, I didn't put my hands on it, man. That was all you.
Yeah.
You earned that ass cramp.
Yeah, I definitely earned that. Yeah, that me flailing around like an idiot at the end was, I've had my lower back cramp up, but I've never had my ass cheek cramp up. That was the first. It was just one. And like towards the lockout, I guess I was just clinching so hard, getting that leg drive. I'm pretty sure my butt wasn't even on the bench, but I don't really care. That my ass just locked right up, and it was pretty significant. It got my attention. That was fun. Let's never do it again. Let's go find Brian and get his 2 cents. We have a Brian in his natural habitat, chasing Kona and Nola in their natural habitat. Who's in control? We will never know.
Come here.
The dog tamer, the lion tamer, the Brian Alsrew. He's quite a majestic creature at times, but you can just never tell what he's going to do next. They're standing there in a stalemate, a lot of confusion. The scientific name is Bryopithecus redmantheus, due to the color of his skin when it hits the sunlight. He's a strong one. They're born strong, they're bred strong. Survival of the fittest out here, especially when you've got these 2 hellions to control. Gigantopithecus, is that what you named your? Is that what you named your bench?
That's what I named Billy's bench.
Not quite sure where you were going to go with that.
Neither did I.
Speaking of bench,
Yes.
bench and overhead. What are your thoughts on training bench to help overhead and vice versa?
I don't like the bench. I used to love the bench when I was a young man and hadn't hit puberty yet. Once that happened, I kind of moved past that on like squatting and stuff, but I do think that the bench is important in the close grip form as well as like the floor press form for building up a tricep strength, because if your triceps are stronger, all of your pressing goes up. For us as strongmen, we really care about the overhead press, but for the bench press itself, I don't really care at all. I do, like I said, I like the close grip press, I like the floor press, as well as pin press just for overloading my triceps. I do find that that helps my overhead press a little bit, and that's why it stays in my program. Honestly, bench is almost more like a free day. Another thing that I do like bench for, though, is to build up my chest, actually put mass on my chest. Because for something like a log press, if you have more purchase on the log, when you dip and drive, you'll be able to push more weight. So if you have like a little bird chest, then you just have little points that's gonna hit. If you have like a bigger chest, you'll be able to actually have a shelf to rest it on. So I would say, honestly, that's about the only reasons why I chain chest.
Is that why they call it a front rack position?
That is why they call it a front rack position. So
Gigantopithecus.
Gigantopithecus!
So Gigantopithecus was like an ape-like thing way back in the day that they thought was Bigfoot, but it was an actual ape, if I'm not mistaken. I wish Elliot was here, he could tell us. But it was just, I don't know how that got started, we just started saying it. So there's all of our reasons why, how, and just our method to our madness behind training bench in the strongman game. It's not something you should neglect, but it's definitely, pressing's pressing at the end of the day, and as long as you're pressing something, you're gonna get better at pressing. It's just that simple. Don't overcomplicate it, guys. That is about all I got for you guys. There's some wind coming in, so the sound's gonna get probably all messed up. But until the next time, you guys know what the deal is. Get out there, get after it, and embrace the suck.